Hello and welcome to the Therapy by Craft YouTube channel. My name is Eunice. I'm the maker behind Therapy by Craft, where I like to talk about yarny things so that I don't fall into utter despair. You can find me on Instagram and Ravelry as Therapy by Craft, or you can just hit the subscribe button below to follow along for what I do here on YouTube. Today is like late January, and I went back and forth on whether or not to record an episode because it felt really weird to be like, hey, the world is on fire, but look at my socks. But I have been encouraged by some other knitting creators who do the things that bring us joy. And so, yeah, welcome. I have just a handful of finished objects to share with you. I also have some whips. I have plans for February. Honestly, my creative energy is buzzing right now. And I think a lot of it might have to do with the fact that there's so many things that feel so out of my control that when I feel anxious about those things, my hands want to do stuff. Like my hands want to create, my hands want to do things that make me feel like I'm alive and make me feel like I exist, that things that I do matter. So I just want to make sure that I don't stop doing that. Anyway, let's get started with my finished objects. So I have 3 finished socks since the last time I saw y'all. The first one is sock number 3 for the year. It is my Chaos Coordinator socks. I think this is the January Yarnable colorway. Yarnable is a yarn subscription service. Ooh. And I have the subscription for one sock yarn, like one skein of sock yarn per month. And I think these turned out so cool. Like, I don't know how I got it to not pool. Do you guys know how to get it to not pool? I don't know what I did, but I want to do it again. I want to make it not pool again because I love the way that the color, the variegation of the colorway worked up in this sock. I love especially that the gusset portion isn't like weirdly pooled either, because sometimes the stockinette portion, like for the leg and for the foot, for the 64 stitches that I use for my socks, like it doesn't pool. But then when you get to the gusset, like the number of stitches changes. And so sometimes I get some weird pulling happening there, but I didn't get that for this pair. And I am so curious how I did that because I would love to replicate it. But alas, I do not know. I do not know how I did that. There you go. For the contrast color, I think last time in my previous video, I said that I was using a Filcolana Arvetta, but that is false. I think what I'm using here is Lang Yarns Yavul. I don't know the colorway, but I think it's like a light brown for the contrast. And I like how the neutral kind of gives your eyes a break from the chaos. Haha, that is from the Chaos Coordinator colorway. I'm so lame. Anyway, there is, I did 20 rounds of 2x2 for the cuff. I did 80 rounds for the leg. This is a pretty long leg. Contrast heel. And then from the gusset, like from the pickup here to the beginning of the toe decreases, or no, for the foot, I think it's like 70 rounds. Then I did what I usually do, which is 3 rounds of the contrast color, like 3 even rounds of the contrast color before beginning my toe decreases. I don't know why that makes a difference for me, but it kind of does. So I'm just going to continue doing that. I started these on January 8th and I finished it January 15th. This took a total of 75 grams. And like I said, this made sock number 3 for this year. Next are my toasted acorn socks. I think I've discovered my perfect combo for socks using the 70 gram sock sets. I think last time I shared that I have a bunch of sock sets from a homespun house. I don't even know if I like stated the name of Molly's brand appropriately. I think I just kept saying homespun house, but she is a homespun house on both YouTube and Instagram. And she is a yarn dyer based out of Germany. And she has Patreon yarns that are available if you are a Patreon member. And the every month you get 3 10-gram minis as well as a 70-gram sock set. So it comes with a 50-gram main color and then a 20-gram mini. And I have decided that this year I want to use up those sock sets because I have quite a bit. And I have discovered, I think, the perfect combo or like the magic numbers. This was her September Patreon colorway. Was it September? Yes, 2025 Patreon sock set called a Toasted Acorn. And this is how much I have left. I literally have 1.6 grams, 1.64 grams left of the contrast color. I used all of the main color, and that's it. I think I saved the tail ends too, and all of that. That's it. That is literally all I have left of the sock set. And that's I wrote it down, 2.25 grams. But everything else I used. I'm so happy about that. I'm like so proud of myself. I use 64 stitches. I use a US 1 or 2.25 millimeter red lace 32-inch ChowGoo fixed needles to do magic loop for all of my socks. And with my gauge, I have learned that I can do about 20 rounds somewhere with a contrast color, and then heels and toes for both socks. That's how much I can afford. Maybe give or take a little bit more because, like I said, I had some of the contrast color left over. But that's what I can do. And then everything else I can do main color, and I can get a pair of socks. I wear a US woman's size 7, and these are going to actually be a gift. And the recipient pretty much has the same shoe size as me. And so this works out perfectly. I have a cuff that is 20 rounds of 2x2, 70 rounds in the leg. A heel flap and turn, and then I think I did 70 to 75 rounds in the foot before the toe decreases. And I am so pleased. I am so happy to know this because this is a pretty decent length in the leg. Now, I know that I could also make socks toe up to really make sure that I use all of the yarn, but I am not ready to do that yet. Maybe one day, maybe at some point this year I will try it. But as of right now, I don't want to learn anything too new. I just want to make my socks the way that I normally do, which is cuff down. And yeah, I am so pleased with the results. I love Molly's yarn. I think the speckling is gorgeous. And yeah, I'm very happy with this result. I did 5 rounds in the beginning and then 15 rounds in the main color for the cuff to finish out that 20 round cuff. And then I did 7 rounds here, I think, of the main color before adding in my stripes. And I did 5 round stripes that are broken up by 3 rounds of the main color in between. And the total leg length here is 70 rounds, 70 rows. So yeah, that is super, super exciting. That means that I can kind of play around with the numbers and do different configurations and yes. So this is sock number 4. Like I said, I started this January 15th, finished it January 21st. 71 grams total, actually. I think it was like 70 point something grams. And I'm very, very pleased with that. The last pair of socks, so sock number 5 for the year that I have to share with you, are my sequoia socks. I wish I had, yeah, so these are the socks that are made using a type of yarn, or not type, but yeah, it's a yarn that I have never used before. I forget what it is called. Is it like art craft or something like that? It was a gift that I got for Christmas. Oh yeah, Art Yarns Merino Cloud. That is the yarn. I think it's a commercial yarn, and that's like the base. It is 80/20, so 80% superwash merino and 20% cashmere. So there's no nylon in this yarn. And so it is very, very, very soft. But I wanted to make a pair of socks with it. And the colorway is fabulous, but also there's no way that I would have known it was going to turn out like this. Here is the first sock, and here is the second. Look! They look like two different colorways. But I promise you, they're all from the same skein. What is this little fuzz? Oh, here we go. Isn't that crazy? Okay, so I started these January 4th and I finished it January 22nd. Same thing, really. 20 rounds of 2x2 for the cuff, 70 rounds for the leg. I did a heel flap and turn in a contrast color. And this is also a laying yarn, not Focolana Arwetta. It's laying yarn Yovel. And I, again, don't know the colorway. This is like a dark chocolate, maybe, or like a dark brown. And I think if I had just used this yarn and there was nylon in it, I would have just used the whole, I would have knit the whole sock in that color. But because there is no nylon, I wanted to reinforce some of the areas of the sock that would get the most wear and the most friction. And that would be obviously the heel, also the toe, and the ball of the foot. So I don't know if you can see that I did something a little bit different there. So Amy of Noble Character Crafts, she does this with all of her socks, and this is where I got the idea from. But she reinforces all of the socks that are knit for herself with basically what you would do for a slip stitch heel flap, but she does it on the ball of her foot so that it reinforces that area. And I thought that is brilliant. I don't feel really the need to do that for my other socks where there's nylon in the yarn content, but because this doesn't have it, I wanted to make sure that I would get socks that were still long lasting, and I wondered if this was a way to do that with a nylon less yarn base. So what I did was I did my heel flap and turn. I finished my gusset and worked basically like 40 rounds. So I do typically a 70 round foot, but I did 40 rounds here so that I can start doing the slip stitch detail on the ball of my foot for about 30 rounds. So the way that I achieved this was to slip one, knit one, slip one, knit one, slip one, knit one on just the bottom part. And then the next round, I knit the full round. And then I repeated those two over and over again. So I actually took notes on exactly what I did on my Ravelry page. So you can go there and take a look. I wrote it out. And then once I was done with the slip stitch portion here, then I had the 70 something rounds so that I can start my toe. I'm very hopeful for this. I am curious to see how it wears over time. I feel like if ever I use another yarn base that does not have nylon in it, but I really, really want to make socks out of it, I feel like this might be a good solution for that. But we shall see. What I did notice though was that when you do that slip stitch here, it scrunches the fabric in length, so that this top portion, so the instep is like the gauge of it is a little bit wider than here, which is why it kind of looks like this is scrunched up like this. I was worried that it was going to wear weirdly, but I tried it on, and it didn't feel too bad. And I wonder if that is actually what's reinforcing that area a little bit. So I'm not too worried about it, but if you're noticing that the fabric looks a little off, that's probably what you're seeing. So on a sock blocker, you can see that this is lifted just a tad, and then this kind of scrunches this way a little bit. But I don't know. I feel like it won't be a problem. Or maybe it will. I don't know. We'll see. But when I tried them on my foot, I didn't really feel like it was uncomfortable or anything. So we shall find out. But like I said, this is pair number 5. The colorway is Sequoia. I love the colors so much. And I am happy to have these off my needles. Okay, and that's it. Those are my finished objects. Let's go on to whips. So I currently only have one sock whip going. It is, I guess I could talk about my February plans now. I will be going to Texas to see my family in the beginning of March. The beginning of March is also when I have a couple of birthdays that I want to celebrate. So, like, my birthday is in March, but my brother's birthday is also in March. And then my best friend's birthday is also in March. And so there's a lot of people that I want to knit for in March, which means that February will be a lot of gift knitting. I'm also going to be seeing family who will be visiting from Korea, and I want to knit them things as well. I have knit items for them and sent them to Korea, to gift them when, like, my mom would visit Korea or my dad would visit Korea, for example. Like, I would give them knitted things to take with them so that my grandma and my aunt could have knitted wear from me. And they take pictures and they send it to me, and it just makes me so happy. I think my grandma has a knitted beanie that I gave her when I first started really knitting wearable items, and she still has it. And it is like the cutest thing. My mom went to Korea a couple of years ago, and she's like, "Oh, did you make this for your grandma?" And she took a picture and sent it to me, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, I couldn't even recognize it. It was so poorly made." It was not, I don't know, she made it look cute. The hat itself was not cute, but on my grandma's head, it was stinking adorable. But I was like, man, they really deserve to have, I don't know, knitwear from me that's more modern, maybe. Anyway, so I am planning to knit my grandma and my aunt a pair of socks each, as well as a Stay Toasty scarf each. My brother, whose birthday is in March, he also has been sending me proof of wear, with the socks that I knit him for Christmas. Like, it's only January. It hasn't even been a month since I gifted it to them. And both of my brothers actually have been sending me pictures of them, like, showing their socks to their friends and just like wearing them around the house. And they're like, "Nuna, this is so comfortable." Nuna is what a younger brother calls, his older sister. And so that would be me. I would be their Nuna. And they're like, "Oh, Nuna, it's so comfortable. This is like the most comfortable socks ever." So yeah, they all deserve socks. They all deserve more knitwear. So I'm starting with my brother's socks. I am making him a pair of opal socks using this colorway. It is one of the, like, the colorways that are based on like different artists. I actually don't know who this artist is, but the colorway is called Goodbye from Africa. I think the painting is called Goodbye from Africa. And so that's what the colorway is named after. And this is what it looks like, as a ball. It's super colorful and fun. I love the use of like primary colors here. And then knit up, oops, it looks like this. Isn't that so fun? Ah! I love it so, so much. So both of these socks are ready for the heel flap. I think one of them already started the heel flap, but both of them are ready for the heel flap. I am knitting my socks in tandem, as you can see. I pull from the center for one of the socks and then from the outside of the ball for the other one. That makes it so that the colorway, like the self patterning, is going in opposite directions, but I honestly don't care, and I don't think my brother will care either. If anything, I think he'll think it's really cool because he's cool like that. So for these, I think I'm doing 65 stitches. I'm sorry. It's a 64 stitch sock, 20 rounds for the cuff 2x2, and then 65 rounds for the leg is what I was trying to say. I don't know why I decided to do that. Maybe I just didn't want to do 70 rounds, but then 60 felt too short. So I like stopped in the middle of that. I don't know. But that is my only sock whip at the moment. I have set aside yarn for my grandma and my aunt's socks, but I haven't kicked it up. I haven't started that yet. I still have some time, so that's fine. But this is my first whip that is being held in my Songbird handmade medium zipper bag, which I love. I have the small zipper bag also from Katie, and this one is housing one of the Stay Toasty scarves that I'm making. So, I apparently am not over the Stay Toasty scarf. I made 5 last year, and I want to make each, my aunt and my grandma, one for them. And I am using a very, very bright red. I just know that it is from Dusty Yarn Co. And the colorway name starts with HRH, Her Royal Highness, and then something, something, something. But this is what it looks like. Oh, isn't that perfect? It's such a great red. I love this red so, so much. And I think it will be the perfect scarf for my grandma. Whew. I was tempted to actually make one of the, what is it? The melt ice beanies with this color, but I think it needs to be a beanie for my grandma. And then I have other reds that I could use for that. But look at it. Isn't it so pretty? It is so beautiful. Like, I just can't. And I just think it'll be like such a great pop for my grandma. This is definitely her color. So that's that. That's my second whip. And then the third project that I have been working on more that I kind of brought out to share with you guys today, and this is the last one, is my Harry Potter Advent blanket. This is the Advent from 2024. It is Legacy Fiber Arts and Dragon Horde Yarns. They had the very last installment of their Advents based on the Harry Potter books. And I had it in hibernation for a little bit, but I brought it back out again. And here's what it's looking like. Ta-da! Oh, I wonder if I could do it sideways like this. So I just have 4 more colors to add, 4 more squares. And I don't know if it's going to go on this side here or if it's going to go on this side, but this is what the blanket looks like so far. Ooh. Oh yeah, I think the whole thing is fitting on screen. Whew. So, for those of you guys who have not seen this blanket before, I am actually using the main color, the color that is on like the 25th day that you open on Christmas Day. I I'm using that main color to do 5 rounds in the middle of each granny square. And then I'm using each 20-gram mini. Okay, so here we go. So I'm making a 5-round square like this. And then I'm using the 20-gram mini to work 8 additional rounds after the initial 5 rounds. I found that that is the best way to use up as much of the advent as possible using a 4mm or a G clover hook. I am very happy with the results so far. I've also shared before how portable this blanket has been, interestingly. So I would put my little minis into here. I don't know where I got this bag from. I actually think it's a makeup bag that my mom gave me, but I don't actually remember. I don't even know if it's, yeah, I think it was a makeup bag. But anyway, I have my minis in here and then my main color in here and a little pair of scissors. And I just work up until the 8th round and then I stop. So I have the 5 rounds in the middle and then I work 7 full rounds in the granny square, and then the 8th round I stop so that when I come back home, I can attach it to my blanket as I work the 8th round. So that's how I'm making all of my squares. There's no seaming at all. On the very last round so the 13th round of each square, I have been joining to the blanket in between each granny cluster with a slip stitch. So I like how the join looks. I think it's very crisp and clean. I like that I don't have to seam anything. I just am really very much enjoying this blanket. It's not very big, but I think I'm going to use a more neutral colorway to do a thicker border around the entirety of the blanket. And I'm hoping that after I block it, because this is a superwash yarn, I'm hoping that it'll grow at least an inch or 2 in either direction. But yeah, I have been enjoying working on this. I think there's something about making a blanket that's very comforting and it feels warm. It feels like a hug. It hits a little different than knitting like a pair of socks. And the last thing that I want to say is that I want to knit another blanket. I want to start another one. Not knit. I don't want to knit another blanket. I want to crochet another blanket. And I'm trying to hold off because I'm so close to finishing this one, or at least I'm so close to adding all of my minis to this, and then it's just a border. So I feel like I'm very, very close. But I can't get this other blanket out of my mind. So I really want to make a hexagon blanket. And I have, early on, when I first learned how to crochet, actually, not when I first learned how to crochet, but maybe 10 plus years ago, I attempted to make a hexie blanket. And I had crocheted a bunch of little hexagons, but what really stumped me and what made me just give up on the project altogether was the seaming part. I started seaming and I was like, I just can't. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. It made me want to tear my hair out. It was miserable. But I think there is a hexie pattern, and I have to go back and look at it. I think I saved it somewhere on Ravelry, but I haven't looked at it in a bit. I found a hexie pattern that uses granny clusters. And so I think what I want to do is try doing a hexie blanket where I can join as I go, the way that I joined these granny squares, and see if that will make me less miserable in working on this blanket pattern. Because I do think the hexie is beautiful. I already know that I'm not going to leave it I think I'm gonna like straighten the edges of the blanket. I do want to kind of like square it off, but I just can't get the blanket idea out of my head. I also want to make it like a flower. I know that some other folks, like I can think of at least like 3 or 4 crafters who have made hexy flower blankets that's like English paper piecing inspired, but I want to do a hexy flower blanket that's more like quilt inspired. I know that English paper piecing is kind of like a hand quilted method, but I think like Amy again from Noble Character Crafts, like she made like a beautiful, beautiful crocheted flower hexy blanket that had some neutral colors in between so that the flowers really popped. But I want to do a hexy blanket with flowers but no neutral in between the flowers. I just want one flower on top of each other, just kind of like, yeah. If I can find a quilted picture, I feel like I have some inspiration. I'm sure if I Pinterest it or something, I'll be able to find it. But if I find one, I'll put a picture here. If you don't see a picture here, that means I wasn't able to find an idea. But yeah, that's like the idea that's been percolating in my head and I can't get it out of my brain. I just want to do it. I want to make it happen. And so I might start that and see where that inspiration leads me. If I do start it, then I will let you know about it. I'll take you guys along with me. But that's it. That's it. That's all I have. I think I feel better already talking to you guys about crafts and talking to you guys about the things that I love about my creative endeavors. I already feel better. I already feel connected to y'all. I feel like I'm not alone. I feel like there's a shared common thread between me and you and those of us who love this craft, and something about that is giving me a lot of hope and life, and it is feeding my soul. So thank you for being here. Thank you for tuning in, and I hope that you guys have beautiful, beautiful moments, either with your craft or out and about, moments where you feel connected to others, especially right now. But anyway, thank you for being here, and until next time, happy knitting. Bye.